In Venezuela, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ivan Gil, summoned the ambassador of Spain in the country, Ramon Santos, to express the government's firm stance in the face of any interference. During an official communique, Gil assured the Ministry of Foreign Affairs summoned Ambassador Santos to express the strong position of the Venezuelan government, which will not allow any interference by the government of Spain in matters that are the exclusive competence of Venezuelan men and women. The Venezuelan government will adopt the necessary measures within the framework of international law and the Bolivarian diplomacy of peace to protect its sovereignty. The Bolivarian National Armed Forces of Venezuela rejected the recent imposition of unilateral coercive measures by the United States on high-ranking Venezuelan officials. In response to the recent coercive measures, the Minister of Defense warned that the Bolivarian Armed Forces are unbreakable and will continue defending the democracy in Venezuela. In this sense, Padrino Lopez asserted that the members of the ministry will remain faithful to the Venezuelan sovereignty. The Defense Minister assured that the agents of the Bolivarian National Armed Forces have no price and will remain united and on alert to defend the sovereignty. The Supreme Court of Justice of Venezuela rejected the sanctions imposed against national government officials by the United States. On Friday, Washington sanctioned 16 officials, among them 5 magistrates of the Supreme Court and rectors of the National Electoral Council for allegedly obstructing the presidential voting process of July 28th. In response, the President of the Supreme Court of Justice, Carislia Rodriguez, pointed out that this practice collides with the accepted principles of international law on self-determination and democracy. Furthermore, the TSG President reaffirmed that the entity has always been a promoter of peace in the country, whose decisions have been backed by the national legal system in order to guarantee the tranquility of the nation. The President of the Supreme Court of Justice of Venezuela, Carislia Beatriz Rodriguez, offered statements in rejection of the sanctions imposed by the Office of Foreign Assets Control of the U.S. Treasury Department against Venezuelan individuals.
The Supreme Court of Justice of the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela, on behalf of the entire judiciary, once again repudiates the interfering action of the United States of America in the internal affairs of the Republic by imposing unilateral and illegitimate and illegal coercive measures on 16 Venezuelan officials, among which are the magistrates Carislia Beatriz Rodriguez Rodriguez, Fanny Beatriz Márquez Cordero, Inocencio Antonio Figueroa, Malaquía Gil Rodríguez, and Juan Carlos Hidalgo Pandare, as well as Judge Edward Miguel Briceño Cisneros.
Furthermore, the head of the Venezuelan judiciary expressed her solidarity with the national public powers in the face of the imperial onslaught of the United States government.
For this reason, the words of our Libertador Simón Bolívar seem fitting, and I quote, "The United States seem destined by Providence to plague America with miseries in the name of freedom." End of quote. Likewise, the judiciary expresses its solidarity with the other national public powers that today have been attacked and insulted by the imperial onslaught, ratifying its commitment to peace, sovereignty, and independence of our beloved Venezuela.
The National Electoral Council of Venezuela, CNE, issued a statement to repudiate the act of interference committed by the government of the United States of America as it tries to point out and intimidate a group of Venezuelan public servants through illegal unilateral coercive measures. According to the statement, the electoral power of the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela repudiates the infamous act of interference committed by the government of the United States of America, with which it is trying to point out and intimidate a group of Venezuelan public servants through illegal unilateral coercive measures promoted by criminal groups linked to terrorism, drug trafficking and other crimes who have allied with FU and other corrupt structures to finance operations against the Venezuelan electoral system and its members. Later on, the Electoral Authority stated that the United States of America has one of the most pathetic and obsolete electoral systems on the planet. For this reason, the U.S. government lacks the moral authority to evaluate and give its opinion on electoral issues, much less in Venezuela, where there is an electoral system with the highest global standards. Attempting to blackmail the members of the National Electoral Council is a crude maneuver that has failed before. No illegal sanction against the institution has distanced it from its constitutional mandate. The Venezuelan electoral power is today firm, united, and stronger than ever. Finally, the communique ended by demanding that the government of the United States not to get involved in the internal affairs of the Venezuelan electoral power, and we urge it to dedicate itself to attend the internal affairs of its country, and ended by reminding that Venezuela is a sovereign country that only obeys the will of the people of the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela. The National Assembly of Venezuela condemned and rejected through an official statement the unilateral and coercive measures announced against Venezuelan individuals by the United States government. According to the statement, the National Assembly of the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela condemns and rejects in the strongest terms the continuous and permanent aggression by the supremacist government of the United States of America, this time by imposing unilateral coercive measures against dignified and courageous Venezuelan public servants, such as the first Vice President of the National Assembly, Deputy Pedro Infante. It follows by stating, "We express our deep solidarity with the decent Venezuelans who were attacked by this new and illegitimate action of the imperialist hegemony against our homeland and our institutions. And we tell the decadent United States of American empire and its European satellites that no unilateral coercive measures will stop the libertarian and independent path of the Venezuelan people that they have chosen." The communique closes by declaring that the National Assembly demands full respect for the institutionalism of the country, and we reiterate before the world that more than 200 years ago we ceased to be a colony thanks to the will and struggle of our people, and therefore do not accept nor will accept the interference of foreign powers in our internal affairs, nor any neo-colonial subordination. On Friday, the Bolivarian Alliance for the Peoples of Our America's People's Trade Treaty, ALBA-TCP, released a statement condemning the new unilateral coercive measures imposed by the U.S. government on Venezuelan citizens. According to the communique, the member states of the Bolivarian Alliance for the Peoples of Our America People's Trade Treaty, ALBA-TCP, categorically reject the new imposition of unilateral coercive measures by the government of the United States on Venezuelan nationals. It follows today Venezuela has 16 nationals unilaterally sanctioned for the simple fact of fulfilling their duties and basically for being Venezuelans and not acting to benefit the Venezuelan political sector, which is well known for being extremist and fascist and has always claimed to be in favor of interventionism and the violation of international law rather than assuming its defeat. The statement emphasizes these measures not only attack the 16 sanctioned individuals, this criminal and illegal practice of the U.S. government against the states that do not work in favor of its interests alters the economic and political stability of this country and the entire region. Finally, the communique states, ALBA-TCP strongly repudiates this new attack against public officials, their human and civil rights, and the Venezuelan nation in general, which threatens the peace and tranquility of all Latin America and the Caribbean, and calls on regional governments to reject this measure and to promote diplomacy and respect for self-determination of the peoples, and closes by emphasizing that the Bolivarian Alliance demands respect for the sovereignty of the free peoples of our America and the Caribbean and reaffirms its unrestricted support and solidarity with the people and government of the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela.